Konnichiwa, hello and welcome. This is Roy at Ninjazola90, and today I will be reviewing a super cool, awesome blast from the past, and that is the NECA Godzilla vs. Biollante Godzilla 1989. And I got some things to say about him, so let's get things started. And now, starting things off with the box, because we gotta talk about really cool, awesome looking boxes on this channel when we have them. As you can see, the front cover of the box is basically, I believe, the Japanese theatrical poster for the 1989 movie Godzilla vs. Biollante, which is the second movie in the Heisei series. Yes, second movie in the Heisei series. The movie that came before it was Godzilla 1984/85. There's two different dubs of that one. But yeah, I'll definitely be a review. Speaking of Godzilla 1985, I'll definitely be reviewing that one really soon. But first, I'm going to be reviewing the 89. We see, like I said, we see a cool picture of Godzilla right there. I heard of the person that does the poster art for all the Godzilla movies, but I completely forgot their name. But anyway, cool picture of Godzilla right there, all decked out in green, like he's all full of plant life or something. Like he's got like Biollante's like spray acid all over him. And we see Biollante in her rose form right there, with all these other sort of rosebud tentacles coming out of her body. We can see Godzilla is in the water right there. We see the Japanese title logo for Godzilla vs. Biollante and the English movie title logo. We have the Godzilla logo in the top right corner. The inside of the box, we see a really cool picture of Godzilla in the ocean again. We have these really cool looking energy spores surrounding him, depicting a scene from the movie, which I do have on DVD, by the way. One of the only Godzilla movies I found in a place where you wouldn't expect to find a Godzilla movie, which was the last movie I needed to complete the Heisei series, and yeah, I found it at Rouse's Market in Morgan City, Louisiana. Yeah, I found the movie I needed to complete my Heisei DVD collection at the grocery store. Ironic, huh? And yeah, like I said, cool picture of Godzilla here. And the inside of the box, we kind of see like a volcanic explosion when they let him out of Mount Mihara. And we have this very beautiful floral pattern design underneath. Is basically Biollante is basically sort of like a plant monster infused with Godzilla cells. I forgot her name, but it's like this doctor that was trying to like revive his daughter or something like that. He kind of put like her DNA cells and Godzilla's DNA cells inside of a plant, and it turned into Biollante. I gotta rewatch it so I can remember her name. But yeah, the top of the box, we have the Japanese and English movie title logos for Godzilla vs. Biollante again. We have the NECA logo in the top right corner, and of course it says for ages 14 and up, so this is obviously for older collectors. It's not a kid's toy. And of course it says warning, choking hazard, letting you know that this is not a Snickers bar, it's not M&Ms, it's not a bag of Skittles, it's not gummy worms, it's not gummy bears, it's not candy, it's not Doritos, Locos Tacos or any type of fast food. So yeah, don't try to take a bite out of this and swallow it, because it's not gonna go over so well. So that's what those warning labels are there to tell you. Choking hazard, so letting you know that this is not edible. Just putting that out there for some people who may or may not realize that. But I believe we're all smarter than that for the most part. But anyway, just kidding with you guys. But anyway, we have the side of the box. We have the Japanese and English title logos for the Godzilla vs. Biollante movie again. We have another picture of the movie poster right there. We have Godzilla 65th anniversary, and we have I believe that's Shin Godzilla right there. And it says Celebration. And the other side is practically the same thing. The back of the box is where things get pretty interesting and cool. We see a very cool looking rose pattern frame. We have the rose right there in the top right corner, from, of course, representing Biollante. We have all the thorny rose stems going from the rose all the way around the box, making a frame for the back graphics, which is pretty cool. We have the Japanese and English movie title logo again. And we have some really cool, really cool pictures of the figure demonstrating different poses you can put him in. And of course, he comes with a heat ray breath effect part, which is really cool. And we have the plot for the movie. You can pause that and read it if you want to, because I am not going to read it to you guys, because we're going to be here all day. Although, yes, I can read. I'm not illiterate. I did have educational difficulties growing up, but yeah, I can read. But anyway, yeah. Letting you guys pause that for a second if you want to. So I'm going to give you like a couple of seconds. And now moving on to the Toho logo right here. And we have the Japanese, not Japanese, we have the Godzilla Kaiju emblem right there. I believe a lot of people say that's the Marvel Godzilla. But anyway, I never read any of the Marvel Godzilla comics, so I wouldn't be sure. But that's what everybody in the fan base says. But anyway, we have trademark and Toho Company right there. In the bottom of the box, we have it just says NECA, Real Toys. We have a serial number and a very boring barcode. So yeah, that pretty much concludes it for the box. Now on to the figure. And now here we have the NECA Godzilla 1989 from Godzilla vs. Biollante in all of his Bio-Goji glory right before us. As you can see, this is a really cool, super awesome figure that unfortunately is no longer available at retail, so that kind of sucks. But hopefully sooner or later Hyatt Toys will do their own 89. I know they have the 91 coming out, which is very similar to this one, but is a different suit design, which is practically almost neck and neck with the 89, but there is distinct differences. But most notably, I would say with this figure, I would say it's not an exact carbon copy of how Godzilla appears in the 1989 movie, but it's definitely a good representation. I would say this one looks more like his character sprite in the Super Nintendo game Super Godzilla, before he becomes Super Godzilla, just in his regular normal state. But and I would say this also kind of looks like his appearance in the fighting game for the Super Nintendo, or Japanese Super Famicom game. Unfortunately, never got released in the United States, but I have the file on my EverDrive, so I can play the ROM, which is Godzilla Kaiju Daikessen. So it kind of looks like almost like a 16-bit character rendition of Godzilla from the Super Nintendo almost. But I think this is a definite good Heisei Godzilla. And I would say this is a better NECA Heisei Godzilla than the NECA 94 that we got. So yeah, it is unfortunate that NECA did lose the Godzilla license, because it would have been cool to see them pump out some more Godzilla related figures and maybe do more monsters. But Unfortunately, that is no longer the case, and yeah, I did get the. This is one of the final figures that NECA did release, and they released this one alongside the Tokyo SOS, the Godzilla 2003, which unfortunately I missed the boat on getting, so yeah, we won't have any reviews for that one on this channel, but there is the Hiya Toys one coming up, well, the 2002 one coming up, which technically I would say they would probably do the Tokyo SOS with the chest score as well, so yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. So although I may not be getting every single Hiya Toys Godzilla release right away, I'm definitely going to try my best to get them, because right now I am going to be bringing more Power Rangers Lightning Collection figures to this channel, because I haven't got any Lightning Collection figures yet, and the line is technically ended, and I'm trying to get as many as I can before they go up in price any further, because I already had to pay a markup for the Green Ranger, but I really didn't mind because it's from a really good seller. He's taking care of me like really well. But anyway, guys, with that said, I will now be going over this figure and going over detail, articulation. As far as detail wise, like I said, this is looks more like a 16-bit rendition of the 1989 Godzilla, or Heisei Godzilla, rather than his actual movie appearance, but it's still, like I said, a really good representation. I really do like the sculpt. I think it looks really good, really cool. Like I said, it's a shame that NECA lost the license, but it's still a very much appreciated figure in my collection nonetheless. As you can see, the dorsal spines look really good on them. They are more of a rubbery material, but I still wouldn't manhandle them because I wouldn't want them to rip or anything. The overall design, this does look a lot more bulkier than the let me go get it, the SH Monster Arts figure, and I'm going to show you the difference right here. As you can see, night and day with both figures. Now, I do like both figures, but as you can see, as far as the chest sculpt and everything, this is more true to how he looks in the movie. Because the 89 Godzilla is flat-chested. When he does, his chest becomes more bulky is in 91 Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. And yeah, this one kind of has more of a bulkier chest. But it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I really do like it. Although, like I said, the SH Monster Arts is, I would say, is more movie accurate. But the NECA is still a good option, technically. Although, like, you would have been paying a lot less, and you wouldn't have nearly as many QC issues to worry about. So you wouldn't be taking as many chances with this as you would with these. But unfortunately, like, NECA is no longer producing Godzilla figures because they no longer have the license. I repeat myself again. But definitely, like I said, Hiya Toys, I have a lot of high hopes for them doing an 89 and hopefully maybe an 85, because, or aka an 84, like I was saying, because that's also one of my favorite Godzilla suit designs. Because I am a big fan of the 85, 84 movie. That was like one of my first and only Godzilla VHS tapes growing up, until like I got more movies later. That's not the first Godzilla movie I ever remember watching. I remember watching my first Godzilla movie I ever watched, like, growing up, was the original. Well, it was a 1956 American release, and I've been like fascinated ever since. But anyway, like I said, as far as colorization, he's more, I would say, like a lighter charcoal gray. He's not exactly as dark as the, let me get it again, so we can get a side-by-side comparison yet again. He's not as dark as the SH Monster Arts version, but it still looks good. And the dorsal spines are more of a, sort of a lighter tannish, like a lighter bone white colorization on this one rather than a darker gray. So that's another major difference. But anyway, also the head sculpt is really good. So let me put my light on so we can get a good look at those eyes. Yeah, those eyes, I would say, look more, like I said, 16-bit, like, ish, more like, I say more like more little cartoonish, like anime-ish, like art style, like drawn up art style rather than like live action type of looking. But it's still not a bad figure overall. We see he's got his little Godzilla ears, and of course the mouth is articulated because he does come with a heat ray breath effect, as shown on the box. And does he have them? Yes, he does have his double rows of teeth like the Heisei Godzilla has. And of course we have the tongue inside the mouth. The tongue is not articulated like the SH Monster Arts or Haya Toys. We don't have all those little smaller, finer details inside the mouth. Like we don't see all like the little inlinings on his tongue and everything. And we do have the colorization. We do have some detailing inside the mouth, but these were budget figures, so you can't expect to have all those bells and whistles with these. But it still looks good for what it is, nonetheless. For the price that we paid for this back when they were available, I'm not complaining. And this figure, unlike the Monster Arts version, holds up really well. Might I demonstrate the articulation? Because, yeah, and I'm going to show you why I feel this one holds up better. Excuse me, articulation, the head can look up that far, a lot more than the SH Monster Arts version. We can look down that much, we can look that far right, we can look at that far left, we can cranium revolvus him all the way around, and pretend he's Mecha Godzilla, disguised as Godzilla. We do have a swivel hinge in the arms, so we can move those arms up and down on a hinge. And let me see if I can show you guys. I could bring it up close to show you guys where that hinge is. You can see right there underneath his armpits where that hinge is, and the same on the other side. And we can swivel those arms a full 360 like so, like that, and bring them back down. We do have a single joint at the elbow, so we can move that elbow forward and back. Same is true with the other side. We have a swivel hinge at the wrist, so we can swivel it a full 360, and we can bend the wrist forward and back. Mine is a little tight, but as you can see, it is doable. So we can rotate and have that claw swiping action like so if we want to. And we do have a hinge joint at the fingers as well, so this Godzilla can grab and close his fist. You know what? Speaking of this figure having hinge joints in the fingers, you know how some of the Haya Toys figures have been giving us like open claw hands and then closed fists? You know what I'm thinking? Wouldn't it just be better if they just take a page out of NECA's book and just give it hinged fingers instead of interchangeable hands? And that would just be way better, because we could put them with a closed fist like that instead of having to pop the hands on and off all the time. That would just be better way of thinking, if you ask me. The same way that everybody says that Super 7, it would make more sense for Super 7 to give their Godzilla Ultimates figures hinge jaws instead of interchangeable heads, which technically would make more sense to me as well. But anyway, it is what it is. But I'm just saying, I think it would make more sense for Haya Toys to put hinged fingers on their figures, and like on their Godzilla figures, instead of giving them like a closed fist hands and like open like claw hands. I think it would just be a much better idea. If not, hey, if not, it'd be a better idea. You could give them like open claw hands. You could do closed fist hands, and you could give us hinge hands, so we can do both if we want to. So maybe adding a third option with hands with hinged fingers wouldn't be that bad of a choice. So yeah, listen to your fans, Haya, and yeah, learn from your predecessors. Learn from NECA, which they like these. Which I think that would be a good idea. Now, enough with the handiwork. Let's move on to waist articulation. The waist is on a hinge, so we kind of sort of have a slight ab crunch. We can move it that far forward, although it's a bit stiff. We can move it that far back, and we can rotate them all the way around a full 360 and the opposite way as well. And we can put him back. The legs the hips are on ball joints as well, but we can't really bring them out all that far. We can rotate them a full 360 if we choose to, though, so that is definitely an option. So that's about all we can do. And we can bend the knees forward and back, so we do have a single joint at the knees. So this one is a bit stiff, but it's doable. And might I add that, oh my gosh, the NECA Godzilla 1989 has some really thick hips, dude. Like some really thick thunder thighs. Just look at that. Beefed up legs, dude. Just look at that. That's a lot of muscle right there. But anyway, moving on to the feet. The ankles are on a swivel, so we can swivel them all the way around a full 360. And no, we cannot point them forward and back. Unfortunately, it ain't just a swivel. But anyway, with the detail on the mani-pedi there, I would say they are of a very cool, beautiful, at least somewhat realistic looking, sort of weathered bone white colorization, looking really sharp. But anyway, now moving right along to tail articulation. The tail is comprised of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 articulation segments, which the tail does have a good range of articulation, but as you can see, it's kind of sort of pre-posed. So it's kind of like this in like this upper like raised S curve. But yeah, you do have to apply the tail out of the box, and mine likes to pop off like nobody's business. But I'm not taking points off for that because this was a budget figure, so I'm not going to be that strict on it. So I'm going to give it some leeway for that. So I mean, because NECA figures are known for that, but these were budget figures, so I'm not going to be, that hard on this one. Tail articulation, though, we can move it about this far this way. Hey, we can move it that far the opposite way. Although it kind of does put the dorsal spines out of a line a little bit, when you can see where the dorsal spines, dorsal plates, dorsal fins, whatever you want to call them, because everybody calls them something different. They kind of get out of line when you move the tail this way, but it's not that big of a deal. Can we put them? I doubt it. No, we can't put them in a Godzilla vs. Smog Monster pose, technically, unless like we move the tail like backwards. But then it's just gonna look awkward and weird because his dorsal spines on his tail is gonna be in the front. So yeah, that's just gonna put his tail backwards. So that's just gonna look awkward. Can we put this in a swimming pose? I don't think we can. We could sort of try, but I don't think it's gonna work all that well. Sort of, but his tail's kind of sticking up. So, yeah. So, I mean, it's a $20 figure. It was a budget figure, so we can't really put him in all those crazy accurate poses, but it's a good articulated figure for what it is nonetheless. And I still think it's an overall good figure, and he does come with the heat ray breath effect part. Before I forget, although this is a good heat ray breath effect part, it's sort of like I'd say it's more like an icy blue, white colorization. It's kind of got this like spiral to it. Basically, this is how his heat ray should look from the Heisei series. What you do is you open his mouth, and he has a little pig hole at the top of his mouth there. So what we do is I believe I got it right up. I got it upside down. Okay, shove it this way, and yeah, there we have him. He's firing off his heat ray, going trying to take down the Super X2. As long as the Super X2 doesn't open up that dreaded fire mirror. Because, yeah, if you play Godzilla on the PS4, or if you own both the PS4 and Japanese PS3 releases, yes, I do have Godzilla for PS3, the Japanese version. I imported that one from Japan when I got my first PS3 like a couple of years ago. Yeah, I'm that hardcore of a Godzilla fan. And yeah, the Super X2 could be a pain in the butt, especially when it uses that fire mirror. So yeah, but anyway, that pretty much concludes my review on this figure. Now I will be getting into my final verdict and giving this figure a final score based on detail, articulation, and playability. So let's get to it. And now for my final verdict on the NECA Godzilla vs. Biollante Godzilla 1989 figure here. If I have to give this one a final score based on detail, articulation, and playability, and like I said, I'm definitely giving this one some leeway because it is a budget figure, so I'm not taking all that many points off for this mishap here because, yeah, that's to be expected because that's something you have to attach out of the box anyway. But anyway, if I have to give this one a final score, I have to give it a drum roll, please. A fair but square, well-deserved 5 out of 5 stars. Why? I think this is an overall vast improvement over the previous NECA figures that we've gotten prior to this. Unfortunately, this came towards the end of the NECA line when they lost the license. It would have been cool to see, you know, further improvements made to their Godzilla line, and perhaps we would have gotten even better versions of their older figures with fully segmented tails and stuff like that. But unfortunately, that is never going to happen. But they've got definitely been replaced by Haya Toys, so that's not technically all that much of a loss. But as far as aftermarket prices, I would definitely avoid NECA, but you're definitely going to be paying a markup on the aftermarket. You're better off just getting a Haya Toys figure by that point. But anyway, yeah, I think this is an overall good figure for its time. It was a good figure for the price, and like I said, it's a much appreciated part of my collection. And if you have this figure as well, you know what? Good for you, because yeah, this is a definitely a good figure to have, and he's much appreciated, and he does hold some good significant value. So definitely something I would be happy about. But anyway, guys, if you did make it this far into the video, thank you guys very much for watching. That really helps out this channel, and if you want to help out this channel even more, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, love you all. God bless. Stay safe. Take care, and peace out.